Verse 1. While these things were going on, it happened that two eunuchs, the cupbearer of the king of Egypt and the miller of grain, offended their lord. Verse 2. And Pharaoh, being angry with them, now the one was in charge of the cupbearers, the other of the millers of grain, verse 3, sent them to the prison of the leader of the military, in which Joseph also was a prisoner. Verse 4. But the keeper of the prison delivered them to Joseph, who ministered to them also. Some little time passed by while they were held in custody. Verse 5. And they both saw a similar dream on one night, whose interpretations should be related to one another. Verse 6. And when Joseph had entered to them in the morning and had seen them sad, verse 7, he consulted them, saying, Why is your expression sadder today than usual? Verse 8. They responded, We have seen a dream, and there is no one to interpret it for us. And Joseph said to them, Doesn't interpretation belong to God? Recount for me what you have seen. Verse 9. The chief cupbearer explained his dream first. I saw before me a vine. Verse 10. On which were 3 shoots, which grew little by little into buds, and after the flowers it matured into grapes. Verse 11. And the cup of Pharaoh was in my hand. Therefore I took the grapes, and I pressed them into the cup that I held, and I handed the cup to Pharaoh. Verse 12. Joseph responded, This is the interpretation of the dream. The 3 shoots are the next 3 days. Verse 13. After which Pharaoh will remember your service, and he will restore you to your former position. And you will give him the cup according to your office, as you were accustomed to do before. Verse 14. Only remember me, when it will be well with you, and do me this mercy to suggest to Pharaoh to lead me out of this prison. Verse 15. For I have been stolen from the land of the Hebrews, and here innocently I was cast into the pit. Verse 16. The chief miller of grain, seeing that he had wisely unraveled the dream, said, I also saw a dream, that I had 3 baskets of meal above my head. Verse 17. And in one basket, which was the highest, I carried all foods that are made by the art of baking, and the birds ate from it. Verse 18. Joseph responded, This is the interpretation of the dream. The 3 baskets are the next 3 days. Verse 19. After which Pharaoh will carry away your head, and also suspend you from a cross, and the birds will tear your flesh. Verse 20. The 3rd day thereafter was the birthday of Pharaoh, and making a great feast for his servants, he remembered during the banquet the chief cupbearer and the chief miller of grain. Verse 21. And he restored the one to his place to present him the cup. Verse 22. The other he hanged on a gallows, and thus the truth of the interpreter of dreams was proven. Verse 23. And although he advanced with so much prosperity, the chief cupbearer forgot his interpreter of dreams,